I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on NewsFeed today. Taking on the big tech firms one giant fine at a time. Jeff Bezos tells the world the National Enquirer is trying to blackmail him. A look at mercenary spy agencies in the UAE. And in animals doing stuff, this guy is getting ready for the weekend. Now, top of the newsfeed, taking on tech. Some of the major firms have had a bruising week thanks to European legislators. We've seen huge fines and threats to break them up as people in power finally begin to grasp the huge influence for good and bad social media has on humanity. But are fines and threats the only way to deal with big tech firms? European legislators are coming for the big tech firms. In the past week, Apple paid 500 million euros in back taxes to France. Germany's taking on Facebook, saying the company is abusing its position of dominance in the marketplace by the way it combines data it collects on its users through Instagram, WhatsApp, and third-party apps. It then sells that data for profit.
Part of the way that Facebook works, it acquires new bits, it kind of stretches its tentacles out, and then it pulls them in. So we've had WhatsApp and Instagram acquired, and initially on the acquisition they were kept completely separately. Then gradually more data is brought in, and we're told they're going to kind of combine them a little bit. And then only a couple of weeks ago, Zuckerberg said that by 2020 or so, he actually wants to make the systems fully interoperable and fully sharing all their data. And this new ruling from Germany is kind of a direct slap in the face of that. And I did wonder when I saw the ruling, did Zuckerberg know this was going to happen? And this is why he kind of tried to announce that he was going to bring them all together.
This comes as it was revealed that Google's parent company Alphabet paid $4.2 billion in tax last year on revenue of $136.8 billion. It was fined $5.1 billion by the EU for antitrust violations in relation to restrictions it placed on the use of Android.
They've rewritten laws to allow these kinds of fines. I mean, I think we need to understand the GDPR, the main big reform, wasn't anything about the quality of the law or anything like that. It was the capacity to fine spectacular amounts of money and to have the global reach to get companies like Google and Facebook and so on. And I think there will only be more of these fines.
Alphabet uses legal tax avoidance strategies to lower its tax burden. The European Union has long complained that big tech firms are not paying their fair share. The companies often use offshore tax havens to keep their tax bill as low as possible, despite making record-breaking profits by selling our data. In 2017, Google put $23 billion through a Dutch shell company into Bermuda, paying zero in tax. The EU is increasingly trying to crack down on tech firms, not only for not paying enough tax, but also for overstepping privacy laws.
At the moment, there are three main strands. There's the competition law, antitrust stuff, which is effectively about abusing their dominant position in the market. Then there's the GDPR law, which is about their invasions of privacy. And then there's the NetDG law, which is about the content, how having illegal content. Mostly it's hate speech, extremist speech, and things like that.
So are really high fines the only way to make big tech firms pay more?
Are they willing to try to find a way to change their fundamental business model, or are these fines going to continue? Now, if the fines continue and nothing changes, there's another option available, which is a possibility that I think Google and in particular Facebook are concerned about, and that is the idea of using competition law, antitrust law, rather than fining, but to force the companies to break up.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Now, the richest man in the world is being extorted by a rag tabloid called the National Enquirer. Jeff Bezos has published emails he got from the parent company of the Gutter publication that detailed the way they intended to print pictures of Bezos and his partner unless he stopped his investigation into how the Inquirer got their hands on private communications between the two. In an extraordinary blog post, Bezos says he will not participate in blackmail, political favors, political attacks and corruption, and says he prefers to stand up and roll over the log to see what crawls out. The director Woody Allen is suing Amazon. His latest film, A Rainy Day in New York, was due to be streamed on Prime, but after allegations that Allen abused his daughter in 1985, the film's release has been delayed. Now it seems Allen has taken preemptive action suing Amazon for breach of contract. He's looking for $68 million in damages. Now, Amazon have said that a bunch of actors have refused to work with Allen in the future, including Timothée Chalamet and Rebecca Hall. Now, Allen denies the accusations and says that Amazon entered into the contract with him in full knowledge of the accusations, which have been widely known for decades. The sister of the Thai king has registered as a candidate to be Prime Minister. Princess Uluratana Mahidol is running as part of the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawat's party. It's a huge break with tradition, as the venerated royal family in Thailand usually stay out of politics. The election is due in March and will be the first since a military junta took power 5 years ago. And as a person who reads for a living, I have a tiny bit of sympathy for this latest Donald Trump-Ron Burgundy moment. While Trump was reading the autocue at the National Prayer Breakfast, he said the abolition of civil rights is a great American accomplishment. If he meant that, wow. And if he didn't, he should have corrected himself. You stay classy, San Diego.
Since the founding of our nation, many of our greatest strides, from gaining our independence to abolition of civil rights, to extending the vote for women.
Now, two Reuters journalists have revealed some shocking details about a team of spies for hire working out of the UAE.
Sivanay Tamajan, I'm the Commanding General for the Joint Aviation Command in UAE.
Let's go around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Friday. Now, police in the United States are unhappy with Google's Waze map app because people are posting the cops' drink-drive checkpoints in real time, allowing booze hounds to sneak around the traffic stops. It's pretty bad news. Now, the NYPD have sent a cease and desist letter to Google gang. I wonder if they'll be listening. Instagram say they will remove all images of self-harm from the platform. It comes after the father of a girl who killed herself says the photo site helped kill his daughter. Her name was Molly Russell and she'd been looking at self-harm images. Now, the boss of Instagram said the images will be taken down as soon as possible. It begs the question why they're on there in the first place. Now, people who don't want the UK to leave the EU have started putting up billboards showing how some politicians clearly had no idea how much of a mess Brexit was going to be. They've been putting up the billboards in London, which voted to remain in the EU, which is kind of preaching to the converted. If this campaign is to have any impact, they need to put the billboards in places that voted to leave. A Fortnite gamer called Rizart has said sorry to his subscribers for lying to them. He told them he was 12 and gained loads of fans who thought of him as a child prodigy. Actually, he was 16. He says from now on he will act in a proper manner. And a popular social account called We Rate Dogs has made a game kind of like Top Trumps but with doggos. It will be stupidly popular with people who like the animals and with those 7 million or so social followers the account has. Now, electric scooters for rent are becoming an increasingly popular way for people to get around the city. But the more popular they become, the more people worry about their safety. Well, the weekend is here and loads of people will be going to the hairdressers and the barbers to get their hair on point, as has our animal doing stuff. I think I liked him before. That's all from the NewsFeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter and YouTube, and you can follow me on Instagram if you want. Follow, subscribe and add.
See you again soon.